Today is not a lukewarm news day, Bolts fans. We've got a first-round contract hitting the table, an unknown rookie trying to force himself into the OTA conversation, Rashawn Slater sounding like he is ready to run through people again, and one trade idea that, honestly, I am not just going to swallow quietly. Los Angeles is building control, speed, and trench violence all at the same time. That is a real message to the AFC. Before we hit the first punch, subscribe right now because this team is moving, and anybody sleeping on it is going to miss the beginning of the shift. The first move already feels like a serious organization doing serious business. Akheem Mesidor, the first-round edge rusher, has agreed to a 4-year deal with the Chargers worth $20.46 million fully guaranteed, according to Adam Schefter. And yes, somebody can look at that and say, well, first-round contracts are fully guaranteed anyway. Fine. But anybody who truly follows this team knows the story is not that simple. Because in Los Angeles, every rookie contract detail matters. Not because of the basic math inside the deal, but because of what it says about how this franchise is operating. Fans remember 2016. They remember the Joey Bosa situation. They remember how something that should have been routine turned into noise, delays, discomfort, and free ammunition for outside criticism. So when the Chargers come in now, get Mesidor done, move through almost the entire class, and leave only one piece unsigned. That is not just paperwork. That is the team killing a distraction before it even gets oxygen. That is exactly how an ambitious franchise has to function. No cheap drama. No wasting valuable weeks arguing over language that should already be handled. No letting a first-round player begin his career surrounded by money questions instead of questions about how much pressure he can put on opposing quarterbacks. Mesidor needs to enter camp thinking about burst, violent hands, defensive rotation, pressure packages, not paperwork. The sequence shows a method too. At rookie minicamp, the Chargers had already agreed to terms with Travis Burke, Genesis Smith, Nick Barrett, Logan Taylor, and Alex Harkey. Then came Jake Slaughter, the second-round pick. Now Mesidor is off the list. The only rookie still unsigned is Mississippi State wide receiver Brennan Thompson. And there is no reason to manufacture panic here. There is still time before training camp, and this situation has a different shape than last year's brief Trey Harris holdout, when second-round picks around the league were pushing for higher guarantee percentages. With Thompson, the read feels different. He arrived with real excitement inside the building, especially with Mike McDaniel reportedly pushing hard for the pick. That says plenty. When an offensive coordinator sees a clear role for a fast receiver, that is not just another name filling out the room. That is a piece that can change spacing, stretch a defense, open grass for the run game, and scare safeties who like creeping down toward the line. So Mesidor's signing is more than a closed deal. It is a step cleared. The Chargers are one signature away from having the entire 2026 class under contract, with no saga, no fire, no excuse. And for a team that wants to start camp attacking instead of explaining problems, that is massive. The demand is simple now. Get Thompson done, put everybody on the field, and let the competition get loud. The second story brings a different kind of heat. The Chargers draft class got attention, and it deserved it. They added offensive line help with Jake Slaughter, Alex Harkey, Travis Burke, and Logan Taylor. They added speed with Brennan Thompson. They brought Akheem Mesidor, Nick Barrett, and Genesis Smith into the defense. But while everybody is staring at the drafted names, an undrafted free agent can sneak through the side door and shake up the whole room. That name is Avery Smith, the cornerback out of Toledo. And before anybody treats this like some tiny OTA note, hold on. According to Eric Smith of the Chargers site, the undrafted defenders made noise early in the second week of activities. Nadam Tucker won a pair of pass rush reps during team drills, and Avery Smith nearly had a pick 6 in 7-on-7. Nearly. But in June, for a player trying to jump the line, almost picking one off and taking it back is enough noise to make a coach look twice. That is where the competition gets interesting. The Chargers are not desperate at cornerback, even after Benjamin St-Just's departure, but depth at that position is never a luxury. Never. One injury, one dip in performance, one special team shift, and suddenly the player who looked like an off-season body becomes real. Avery Smith is 5 feet 10 and a half, 196 pounds, and that brings fair questions about his outside fit, press coverage, and even tackling. Nobody has to pretend he is a finished product, but the other side cannot be ignored either. He spent 4 years at Toledo, developed in the same environment where Quinyon Mitchell grew before becoming a major NFL name, and he has the athletic profile that can fit a zone-heavy defense. For a system that has consistently elevated secondary talent since Jesse Minter arrived, that kind of player cannot be brushed aside just because he did not come in with draft day spotlight. Josh Edwards of CBS Sports also listed Smith as a name to watch from the Chargers' UDDA class. That does not guarantee a roster spot. It does not put anybody on the final 53, but it sharpens the warning. There is a competition happening away from the main noise. And if Avery Smith keeps showing up, Nico Reed, Dean Leonard, and everybody living on the edge of that cornerback room is going to feel the pressure. That is how a roster gets better, not with comfortable jobs, with somebody climbing from the bottom and saying, either you run or I take this space. And if the second story was about somebody trying to earn space, the third is about a guy who, when he is right, immediately changes the ceiling of the offense. Rashawn Slater missed the entire 2025 season after suffering a catastrophic patellar tendon rupture early in training camp. That is not a small injury. That is the kind of hit that tests the body, the mind, the confidence, and the career. But the message coming from him now is strong. Slater is on track to be cleared soon. He feels ready for training camp, and when he spoke to the media, he carried the kind of energy that should make every Chargers fan raise an eyebrow, because this return is not happening in a vacuum. He is coming back right as Mike McDaniel installs a new offense built around wide zone, motion, horizontal speed, and a serious demand on the tackles. That is where this stops being just, hopefully he comes back healthy, and turns into a heavy strategic question. In this system, a tackle is not a statue. A tackle runs, reaches, seals the edge, fires off the snap, makes reach blocks, and turns angles into punishment. If the tackle is late, the play dies. If he gets there clean and violent, the running back cuts, the defense loses discipline, and the offense starts looking faster than it really is. Slater understands that. He said the offensive line is doing a lot of running in practice and that the conditioning will help the group. He also said he has not done drills like this since his rookie season with Frank Smith, who later worked as Mike McDaniel's offensive coordinator in Miami. Look at that fit. That is not some random connection. That is the philosophy landing directly in the players' bodies. And when Slater says the scheme is fantastic, that it is going to let them play fast and violently, I hear music for fans tired of watching a stuck offense. He also mentioned studying Trent Williams, and that makes perfect sense. Williams is the standard in similar systems, a monster who blends technique, movement, and brutality. Slater does not have to become Trent Williams, but if he is healthy and comfortable in this model, the left side of the Chargers line gets elite presence back. Now put that together with Joe Alt on the other side. Two healthy, athletic tackles in an offense that wants to run outside, stretch defenses, and put linebackers in conflict? That can be the difference between an offense with promise and an offense that starts creating fear. The 2025 season took Slater off the field, but if this return comes with stored-up anger, real conditioning, and a scheme that matches his best traits, Los Angeles gets more than a left tackle back. It gets a declaration of war at the line of scrimmage. And I want to hear from you on this one. If Slater gets back anywhere close to the level he has already shown, how high does this Chargers offense climb in the AFC? Because for me, with no fake exaggeration, the entire conversation changes. Now hold on, because this is where I stop talking like an observer and start talking like a ruthless defender of this roster. Mo Moton of Bleacher Report brought up Kimani Vidal as a possible trade candidate for the Chargers in 2026, and I understand where the idea starts. The team signed Keaton Mitchell, Omarion Hampton is coming back. Mike McDaniel loves speed, burst, backs who threaten the perimeter and turn a crease into a big gain. Vidal is not that pure speedrunner type. He is more downhill, more contact, more short area punishment, more hard yards. And that is exactly why this idea bothers me. Because the Chargers just lived through a season where Vidal was needed. He started the year on the practice squad, took on a major role when Hampton was out, and finished as the team's leading rusher with 643 yards, averaging 4.1 yards per carry. That is not untouchable superstar production, but it is also not disposable piece production like this roster is just overflowing with perfect running backs. He kept the run game breathing when the ideal plan had already taken a punch. That is the part so much offseason analysis forgets. A pretty plan in June does not survive by itself into December. Hampton played only 9 games as a rookie. Mitchell has never had more than 60 carries in a season. Both have explosion, yes. Both fit a lot of what McDaniel wants to do, absolutely. But if Los Angeles is going to be a run-heavy team, if it is going to build an identity with wide zone, play action, wear down football, and control up front, then depth is not decoration. Depth is survival. Vidal may not be the fastest back in the room. Great. Not everybody needs to win the same way. In a smart rotation, he can be the guy who lowers the shoulder, protects a lead, attacks between the tackles, wins third and short, fights in the red zone, and punishes defenses that get too light worrying about speed. That has real value. That changes games. That forces a defensive coordinator to respect more than one kind of threat. The trade idea only starts making sense if Vidal is completely erased from the offense once the season is moving. If he has no role, no snaps, no trust from the staff, then yes, the conversation can come back with a different weight. But right now, before seeing how McDaniel mixes Hampton, Mitchell, and Vidal, before knowing who can handle volume, who protects the ball, who blocks, who delivers in tight areas, no, to me, that would be impatience dressed up as strategy. The Chargers have to stop acting like every piece that does not fit the prettiest version of the drawing is expendable. Strong teams stack answers. They do not give answers away too early. Vidal has already proven he can carry responsibility when this offense needs him. So if somebody wants to take him out of Los Angeles, they better come with an offer that actually changes the structure of the roster. Trading him just to trade him? That is what a team does when it still does not understand how much a long season hurts. I am closing this script with one simple belief. I do not want to see the Chargers waste details. Sign the class, raise the competition in the secondary, bring Rashawn Slater back into an offense that wants to hit people in the run game, and do not hand away Kimani Vidal because of off-season anxiety. To me, that is the kind of team building that separates a serious team from a team that just lives on promise. I want Los Angeles loaded with options, strength, speed, and enough toughness to survive when the season tightens up. If you believe this roster needs to be aggressive without being reckless, hit the like button, subscribe, and come back for the next video.